Michael O'Malley. I teach here at Pomona College. I teach sculpture, and one of the classes right now that I'm doing is teaching a class using the CNC router. My interest is in the built environment and why the built environment looks the way it does. The idea is that if you want a different world, you have to build it, and so that's kind of some of the ideas that I deal with as an artist. This is a brand new arts facility, and we are very happy to have this new 5x10 Laguna CNC router to make work. This new building took about 4.5 years to design the program, and one of the things that we did is we really created rooms that would house particular activities. So one of the rooms that we made was a room for the CNC router. The nice thing about it is that it has not only it has a great dust collection system that's connected up with it, but it has some clerestory lighting. So we have natural light in there, and then there's a beautiful window that faces off to the west. So we get this great sunlight in there. There are all kinds of tools. I love the CNC router for doing the smart stuff, and I like take it from there and do things that are more expressive or that are a little bit more idiosyncratic that a machine is not able to do. And one of the things that we try to do is we try to introduce students into what's going on in the world in terms of technology. Everybody uses computers, everybody's digital now, and so it's important that even though you use a material that's been around for thousands of years, that's been worked by hand, that the new technologies in the last 30 years really allow kind of an allow people to use wood in ways that really haven't been seen, and that's one of the things that's really exciting. It doesn't mean that you get rid of your chisels and your planes and the saws, but it does really expand your ability to think. And I think that's one of the great things about tools, is that they allow your imagination kind of new territory. So this is Lucas Littlejohn, is one of the students in my independent study class focused on the CNC router, and he's working through chair design right now, and as you can see there's a number of iterations going on. This was the first one, a little bit more in the second, and this is his third version here.
Basically, here's what I have going on right now. I'm in the middle of a glue up with this Baltic birch, which is a really nice material, a bit stronger than the MDF. But just to talk a little bit about my process through these mock-ups has been basically just trying to knock out something as quick as I can to see all of the flaws that are going to naturally pop up throughout this process. So with this one I realized that the armrests that I had cut would look really unattractive if I just laid them on top of this piece like this. So I went in and added this cut here, and then I also realized that the beam that I had cut across here was way too big, messed up that calculation. So I went in and changed that. And then, you know, it helps a lot to visualize what you're doing.
I'm Katie Birmingham Corbett. I'm a sophomore art major at Pomona. And today, for the past couple of weeks, I've been working on this couch chaise lounge design. It's the first piece of furniture that I've ever really tried making. I'm generally a painter. Somehow got myself into this. I took an intro wood shop class last semester, but we really didn't do any furniture design stuff, so I haven't had any formal training in that. So that and the CNC class are the only things that I've really done with it. There's a learning curve for sure, so I think the first month or two of it was frustrating, but now that I'm starting to get a hang of the program, it's really rewarding. I thought at first it would just be like pushing a button and it's done, but it's a little bit more involved than that. But it's still so much less like physical labor than I would ever have thought is possible. So on the final one, I put some little gussets in here for some extra support, and you can see the tabs in here aren't quite right. So I'm trying to fix that in the final one, get the dimensions spot on so they'll slide in better. The goal is for it to be able to be put together with no glue and no screws, so I want to be able to take them out pretty easily, and they're a little bit too snug right now. So I'm trying to fix that up. But other than that, this will be pretty much the final one.
These are drawing benches that WHY Architecture and I designed and built. And a class that I taught last semester also participated in building. They were made with the intention of accommodating a lot of different body types. So the seats are kind of modeled after a tractor / motorcycle seat, and it allows them, for short people, they can move forward, and taller, bigger people can slide all the way back. These also move, and as you can see right here, depending on the kind of drawing you're doing, you might want to have an attitude that is much more horizontal, or you might want to have something that's much more vertical. And also, the nice thing about these things is that it slides back and you can see what you're doing actually. So with these, there's a number of parts and elements that were done on the CNC router. These parts here, they're all one continuous piece, and then they were laminated up and glued. And then of course these walnut seats were also made with the CNC router. So last year we also made this large conference table. The table is basically made out of scraps of material, the off-fall cuts from the joists of this roof. The idea was to go ahead and save that wood from a landfill, and with a lot of labor and a bit of care, turn it into something kind of special. So for me, the idea is that there's material and there are possibilities everywhere. Even though this is not a material that you would generally make with furniture, it's Douglas fir, and it's fairly green because it was 3x10s, and so it checked like crazy. For me though, it's like those kinds of things, because I'm an artist, are an opportunity for another level of detail. And so with that, there are all of these hundreds of patches. And because I'm not a woodworker, I don't ascribe to the conventions of all the rules. And so I just screwed my patterns for my patches right directly to the surface. And with that, I had a little hole that I had to patch to. So there becomes this kind of geology of labor on here. The other thing about the table is that because it's quite large, I wanted to make it slightly lighter. And also, there are different ways of knowing the world. One of those ways is through looking and seeing. The other is through our hands and through feeling. And so you'll be sitting at this table, and your hand will be under the table, and you realize that it doesn't correspond to what you're seeing. And so what's going on underneath is actually there is a lattice work, honeycomb. I chose the honeycomb because it's a kind of great symbol, bees, community, activity, things like that. Made a pattern again using the CNC router for the legs, and those are a tapered hexagon. So even if you don't come up and touch the table, there's actually a clue that something's going on as that leg tapers up to that underside.
So I'm actually going to be cutting a different project right now. This is going to be based on kind of an interventionist sculpture idea that I had, based on these little kind of lantern pod things that I've designed. Let's see. So I have to park the tool first.
So it'll take care of that. Just go ahead and bring your. You don't have to. Go to program. There you go.
Then
go back to run.
Go to
check curve, back to run.
I'm Davis Menard. I'm a sophomore here at Pomona and I'm a studio art major, and I'm taking the CNC router class with Professor Michael O'Malley. It's been a really awesome class to be able to use the router. The thing I enjoy about it is that you can have a very iterative process. So, you know, it takes not too much time to basically conceive of an idea and get it drawn up on the computer. And you can get it cut up almost immediately with the router. You know, and that's the rough draft. You see what works, you see what doesn't work, you go back to the computer, you make a quick fix, you cut it again, and you just keep going until it's really perfect. And it's nice that you know the router is going to be consistent in how it cuts everything. It's fast, it's clean, and you know, all of the rough drafts are things that you can end up keeping. So I'll just have a bunch of furniture that I can use by the end of the school year, you know. Right now I'm working on a mock-up basically of a small coffee table. So I'm trying to get the height right, I'm trying to get the width of the table top right, as sort of a thing that you could conceive of having in a dorm room. So it's got to be small, it's got to be light. Yeah, I'm just working out basically some of the finer things like how the table's going to sit on the legs, and basically the dimensions of it. I'm hoping before the semester's over to make some furniture for the courtyard outside, because we have this great new art building and there's nowhere to sit down. So trying to think of basically some different processes by which I can make, you know, 6 chairs in a week, and then, you know, could give those to the building and have it be a place to convene and socialize. And that would be something really exciting and something that you can do pretty well with the router. I'm particularly interested in sort of joinery techniques, and just seeing the stuff that he does through the computer and on the CNC router. He's doing super advanced joinery, and those cuts that are coming out of like a very traditional background are just made so much easier by the router. So instead of obscuring that technique or that practice, it's really just highlighting those elements that are so, in my opinion, so important to like the furniture, and, you know, just being able to share your work in a way that people can sort of see what's gone into it. And, you know, the router helps unlock, I think, a lot of different joinery techniques that are effective and fast and beautiful.
So these 2 tables were made for my colleague in the digital arts, and so I decided to make one out of walnut and one out of maple. I guess that was about as binary as I could make them. Again, I used the CNC router to do the joinery for them, and then they're all hand sculpted and hand shaped. I used the step over again with a round over bit, and it gives this beautiful little ribbed crenellation on that. And again, it's just another, you know, it's beautifully and smooth and finished on the top, and then it has that little bit of roughness and just that ribbing underneath. So again, it's this way of knowing the world in a kind of different ways, through a tactile sense and through a visual one. Thanks for coming and visiting Pomona College, and we hope to use your tools for a very, very long time.